Hey there, this is Sam from One Deep Breath. I want to talk about a couple ways that you can use conscious breathing to improve your digestion. Digestive issues seem like a very frequent thing these days, whether it's an autoimmune condition, IBS, or just general intolerances or allergies to certain foods. I'm not trying to imply that breathwork or conscious breathing can totally eliminate these issues, but there is solid scientific grounding for how you can use your own breathing to influence your digestive system. And the reason for this is that our autonomic nervous system plays a huge role in how well we can digest food. Now, we've talked about it in other lessons. There's two primary parts to the autonomic nervous system. There's the sympathetic nervous system, our body's fight or flight mode, and then the parasympathetic nervous system, our body's rest and digest mode. Now, as the names imply, when our body's in a fight or flight state, we're preparing for imminent physical threats. Our body produces cortisol, it produces adrenaline, and it takes resources away from digestion, which is why it's no surprise studies show the diversity of the gut microbiome decrease while we're in a fight or flight state. Inflammation and autoimmune triggers increase while we're in a fight or flight state. And finally, nutrients actually become less bioavailable, or we absorb less nutrients from the food we eat when we're in a state of fight or flight mode, all of which influence our digestive health and our overall health as well. Now, on the contrary, when we're in a parasympathetic state, when we're in a rest and digest state, our body has plenty of resources to properly digest food and deal with some of the normal hiccups that come from eating food. Now, what does this have to do with breath work? What does it have to do with conscious breathing? Well, as we know, our breath plays an absolutely fundamental role in whether we're in parasympathetic state or a sympathetic state. If we're breathing rapidly, if we're breathing heavily, if we're breathing out of the chest, we stimulate nerves that are connected by and large to the sympathetic nervous system. Now, on the contrary, if we take deep breaths using the diaphragm, particularly through the nose, and we do this very slowly, we tell our body that it's okay, that there's no physical threats nearby. Really simply, you can just think about the last time you did physical activity, which is kind of a simulator for threat in a way. You were probably breathing very rapidly, very heavily, taking in a ton of air, which again is a signal to your body and also a byproduct of being in fight or flight mode. By slowing down the breath, we can take ourselves out of it. Now, there's a couple actionable tips that I want to give you to do this. And the first is just a general guideline for breathing for better digestion. And that's to do it both before and after your meal. The following tips or the following exercises I'm going to show you, just do them. You don't have to do any more than even 3 minutes before a meal and 3 minutes after a meal to really get your body in a state, in a headspace where you're ready to digest food, you're not in this fight or flight mode, you're not worrying about work or anything like that, and just kind of priming your body for the meal to come. Now, there's a couple specific exercises that I'd recommend, which you can find in the One Deep Breath app. The first is the 4-7-8 breathing pattern. Now, this was described as a tranquilizer to the sympathetic nervous system, our body's fight or flight mode. It's a really simple technique that consists of a 4-second inhale, a 7-second breath hold, and 8-second exhale. I'm going to play a quick animation guiding you through this. One thing to focus on is you inhale and exhale through the nose. Also focus on breathing in and out of your belly. Not puffing up the chest or arching the back, really focusing on keeping the chest and the shoulders level as you do this. Do a couple of these before your next meal, and I guarantee you'll have improved digestion. I'm going to hand over the animation for just a couple breaths. Great, so I hope you enjoyed that. There's a couple other patterns. The box plus pattern is great for digestion, the box breathing pattern, and also the stress and anxiety pattern on the One Deep Breath app, all of which are really oriented towards improving digestion by activating this parasympathetic dominant state in our nervous system. Now, the second technique I want to bring you to is a little unorthodox, and that is left nostril breathing. It might come as a little bit of a surprise, but which nostril you breathe out of actually plays a huge role in which aspect of our nervous system is activated. The right nostril activates our sympathetic nervous system, or it activates it more because it leads to higher blood oxygenation levels. I have a full video on that you can check out called The Dangers of Deep Breathing. On the contrary, breathing in and out of the left nostril, generally speaking, puts us in a more parasympathetic state. Ancient pranayama breathwork practices will go between the two nostrils, and also some of them just use one nostril at a time. And in particular, when it comes to the parasympathetic rest and digest dominant exercises, they're generally speaking done out of the left nostril. We have a pattern on the One Deep Breath app coming soon as well that features this. Simply, you can just take your thumb, or if you want to, you can use Kleenex or something like that, cover your right nostril, and for 2, 3, 5 minutes before your meal, 2, 3, 5 minutes after your meal, cover that right nostril and breathe in and out of the left nostril. Now, those are the two general recommendations that I'd make when it comes to breathing specifically for digestion. But again, it really comes back to also how you're breathing throughout the day, which is why I recommend checking out the Fundamentals course on the One Deep Breath app, and making sure that you really have all the bases covered when it comes to diaphragmatic breathing, nose breathing, and even your oral posture can make a huge difference in how you digest food, how you chew food, and things like that. I know it sounds silly, but these minute details do make a difference. So I hope these techniques were valuable. Again, you can check out these exercises on the One Deep Breath app, and I hope to see you again soon.